All right, now get this rolling.
Yeah. Yup, I'm letting that thing run right now, the intro.
Eureka.
Okay. It's a
We
vibe.
make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day,
Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day.
We heading out to the dirty south.
We make plays every day.
You know what I'm saying?
We make plays every day, yeah.
Hey.
We make plays
Hey.
every day, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Real Fantasy Playmakers. I am your host, Bogard Scott Free, and today we got a very special guest hailing all the way from Florida. It's my man Ethan from Ethan and Mike's Sports Show. What's happening, Ethan? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Glad to be on the show.
Man, glad to have you aboard. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We I actually came across your content. You know what I'm saying? Just networking on the gram. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I enjoy the content that you and your homeboy Mike be creating. You know what I mean? Very entertaining. I love getting perspectives from all over the United States when it comes to these great sports that we all enjoy. And in this case, you guys are from Florida. You know what I mean? So before we get into all about your podcast and stuff, I just want to ask you a little bit about yourself, Ethan. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? You said you're in college. You know what I mean? And you're doing the podcast. I see you on the gram. You be cutting up them videos. That shit is dope as fuck too. You know what I mean? Like you actually just sent me one about Nick Chubb. You know what I mean? And that shit was really fresh. You know what I mean? I haven't yet to post it yet. I figured I'll be able to post it along with while I'm pumping this episode.
Podcast.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean? And one thing I wanted to ask you, so in Florida, right? Because I know that's where you're at. What's the climate of the corona shit like? How does it look out there? Like, is everything dead out there? Like, is everything a ghost town?
It's not much of a ghost town. Like most of the jobs, like if it was like for retail and all that, it's like gone like right now.
Oh.
But for now, like stores are still open. Hospitals obviously. But other than that, it's just there's just people out on the roads. I haven't been out too much since I've been home.
I heard that. Oh, so you came home. So you go to college away.
No. Actually, I live close to my college. Actually.
Oh, okay. Word.
It's not that far. Not that far. But I just been home from work from last Tuesday.
Oh shit.
That's the last time I worked.
Man, it's kind of crazy, right? After a while of being cooped up, you know what I mean? You got to get outside real quick sometimes. You know what I mean? Well, check this out. Well, before we move on, you know what I mean? I just want to let y'all know to follow us at the GMM Network. Follow me at Bogard Scott Free World, and follow my special guest host on all his social platforms. Go ahead, I'll let you sound them off because you on everything.
All right, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and our major podcasts from Apple, Spotify, and Anchor.
And
that's where you find us at.
And it's
all Ethan and Mike.
It's all under Ethan and Mike's Sports Show on IG, on Twitter, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? On the bathroom wall, in the stalls. You know what I'm saying? Is that, you know what I mean? He's all over the place. You know what I mean?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In the women's bathroom. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? The women's bathroom. The women's is like, oh, okay, the Ethan and Mike show. You know what I mean? We talking sports. You know what I mean? Quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, check this out, man. Tell me all about the Ethan and Mike Sports Podcast. Like, how did it come about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I have yet to see Mike. He's always the guy on the phone, or at least maybe that's the couple episoes I saw. Is he always on the phone, or does he come in live sometimes too?
Well, actually, he comes on in the beginning. He was on live before this COVID-19 stuff that happened.
Oh yeah, it's true.
But since when that COVID-19 happened, there was a time where I felt a little bit sick, so I had him on the phone, and then we had him on the phone because of the COVID-19, which is what. But he's been doing good. He's a good analysis with me too. That's why I picked him for the podcast.
COVID-19, right? It's like STDs where like people just afraid.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, they're afraid to go get checked too. They're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's like, hey,
the health insurance goes up on your bill.
Yeah, check this out, Playmakers. You know what I'm saying? All you Playmakers out there, if you feeling sick or something and you are symptomatic, you know what I mean? you really gotta have to think about it. You know what I mean? Don't go about your day thinking like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? Because you could be putting other people at risk. Let's just try to keep this thing contained. That way, people won't die, obviously, but more selfishly, so we can get football. You know what I mean? I mean, shit.
Oh, that's for sure.
I mean,
that's for sure. Don't be like me. I was sick once. I was sick like during like this crisis, but that was like back in February. But I was feeling pretty good though. I didn't feel like odd, you know.
Dang. So like, you are a young man, right? And you are in Florida. How hard was it not to go to them spring break parties that was everywhere around the corner? Because I know for sure it was titties out, you know what I mean? It was ass out, you know what I mean? And motherfuckers want
hard.
And you know, here's the thing, like, you know, old motherfuckers, like, you know what I'm saying, that don't understand like why these kids still partying. It's like, look, they want to fuck, you know what I mean? Like, you know, young men, they want to go and find women and fuck them, and young women that, you know, they want to go out and find men and do the same. You know what I mean? It's just since the dawn of man. You know what I mean? And
I mean, the dawn time now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, listen, there's already scary shit like, you know, STIs and STDs and shit like that, and it don't stop people from fucking. So you know what I'm saying?
Listen, we got gators, pythons here. That ain't stopping us.
Man, okay, so you grew up in Florida, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so so you grew up. So this is like part of regular life to you, like gators and shit, and like, cause that shit's crazy. Like a motherfucker in Florida, especially depending on what areas you're in, you're more at risk of getting ate up by a croc than, you know what I'm saying, than catching a corona. You know what I mean? Pretty
much indeed. Like, I see a gator, but I don't fuck with that shit. There's some people that fucks with that shit. I'm like, no.
Hell nah. These are fucking ancient dinosaurs, like mini dinosaurs. You know what I mean?
You see that more up north. You see more action like that up north.
So are you? What part of Florida is you at? Cause I've been to like Miami. I've been to Orlando. Obviously, you know.
I've been more. It's like Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so damn, so you were right there in all the parties. All the parties was popping. That's funny. Okay, well, so back to your show. So
yeah.
How long you guys been doing this show?
We've been actually doing this since the beginning of last year. We launched it on December 14th of 2019.
Nice. Sagittarius season. I'm a Sagittarius. That's my season right there. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah.
The reason I asked is because, I mean, I hear the chemistry between you and Mike. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I love the little inside jokes y'all be having. You know what I mean? And what's dope is that you guys don't always agree on everything, you know? Because I kind of hate that, like, the cookie cutter, you know, talking heads, where they're, you know
I wish I would disagree on him. I always like testing his buttons, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah. You know
he's a big Alex Caruso fan. Let me tell you, he's a big Alex Caruso fan.
Wow.
So if you heard my All-Star one, you would hear I just teased the hell out of him saying he didn't make the All-Star. He was pissed off.
Man, so I mean, you know what's crazy is wasn't baseball supposed to it wasn't supposed to be opening day?
It was supposed to happen today. It's supposed to happen this week for sure.
Yeah, I knew it. You know what's funny is like, damn, like it feels like time is passing like super fast.
Slow.
Well, to me, it seems like it's passing super fast because I'm sitting around and it feels like I have nothing to do. Where it's like, but then all of a sudden there goes half the day, and I'm like, so like, then when I'm really busy,
yeah, sure.
When I'm busy, this motherfucker all of a sudden is Tuesday, or like even today, I didn't even realize what day it was. I was like, oh shit, baseball was supposed to start. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. Like this is actually one thing that, you know, you probably have in common with the next man. Like, for example, you're from Florida, I'm from California. We're complete opposite sides of the spectrum, but we have the same common denominator. That we love the sports, we love talking sports, and it's crazy because they, you know, because of this shit, they're taking it away from us. You know what I mean? So us as content creators, you know what I mean? It's
tough.
Yeah, it's a challenge. You know what I mean? But like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, for example, I'm a recording artist. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I make music and whatnot, and I know so many artists. You know what I mean? I know so many goddamn artists. I'm like, you know what? I'll be talking to these artists just on the regular. Like, I'm just gonna start another podcast, but this one will just be talking about, you know, artists in general. Artists, you know, whether you're a painter or a musician or a dancer or you're some kind of content creator or you're an entrepreneur or a hustler. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna sit down, and it's a series called Playmakers, AF. You know what I mean? Like, this show that I got you on right now, it's called The Real Fantasy Playmakers. So I figured it would be like the brothers show, but then also just, so we can continue to put out this good content. I mean, people's posted up right now, and there's so much things to do. And then what I'm trying to do is take advantage of the fact that people are posted down, trying to find things to watch, trying to find things to binge on. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like right now is a good time to do all of this right now.
Yeah.
So brings up your content.
So tell me, how did that conversation sound like when you were like, "All right, Mike, you know what I mean? Let's do this. Let's do this podcast." Like, take me through that conversation.
Like how I got him to the podcast.
Yeah, no, like when it was obviously, I obviously assume it was your idea because you had the name first. It's not.
Yeah, that was my.
Yeah,
it was
it
my
ain't
idea
Mike.
and his idea.
It ain't Mike and Ethan's show. You know what I'm saying? It's Ethan and Mike's. You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear. All right, you know what I'm saying? No, but so go on. Tell me that. What was that conversation like?
The conversation, I was at how I did. So we met up at Chipotle for
nice.
This is a true story.
Chipotle, give me money.
Yeah, I actually got a burrito for sure. But anyways, so we talked about how we're gonna run this for Ethan and Mike's sports show. How we gonna do, who's gonna do social media, and who was gonna do that. But we just kind of winged it. Our first episode, we just talked about what we know the best sports. We always talked about it a lot in school. When I was in high school with him, me and him. He's still in high school right now, but I'm in college right now.
Oh shit! It's crazy because he sounds like an older gentleman on the phone episode.
Really? He's actually 18, but he's about to graduate this year.
You youngsters, that's no, but you know what's dope is that you guys started doing this thing young and just stay with it, man. Because in the industry, there's a lot of people that's young, but they don't stay with it. You know what I mean? When you look at the guys in the fantasy industry, or even just the sports, what was it called?
It's consistency.
I guess your shit is has a broader spectrum because you're not delegating yourself to just fantasy. You're talking about all sports, which is dope. You know what I mean? Because in this climate, we're like, man, you might catch us talking about fucking some Marco Polo or some shit. Whatever the fuck sports is going, whatever sports is going on, we're gonna cover it because there's no sports out there right now. You know what I mean?
At this point, yeah. There's I remember seeing a marble race. I was commentating.
Damn. Okay, so take me through the teams. What's your guys' fandom? You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a Niners fan. What's your team in football?
We're a Dolphins fan.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, because I wanted to see if you were a Bucks or a Dolphins fan, because I know you're.
Oh no, I don't like the Bucks. Yeah. Never did. Just because of Tom Brady, never did.
Yeah, and that's true. I was about to say, and you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's right. You're in you're a division rival with the Patriots. That's right. Okay, so let's go to that.
I never liked the Patriots.
How excited are you though, as a Dolphins fan? Like there's a nice little window of opportunity here for you guys to, you guys have a lot of picks. You'll be able to, you're gonna be able to address a lot of needs. You have a solid chance at getting, a Tua or a Jordan Love or whatever quarterback for
the future. Or Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Or Hubert. Whatever.
Yeah, I heard they're tying him into Herbert. Yeah, because now a lot of people, they were tying Herbert in with the Chargers a lot, but now as of late, I'm hearing a lot of Jordan Love being tied to the Chargers.
Yeah, more like the Chargers.
Yeah, well, which kind of makes sense to me though, because if you think about the Chargers, right, they're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, and then if when you're in a division with somebody, sometimes you look to draft players that resemble your rivals. You know what I mean? So in this case, they do draw Patrick Mahomes comparison to Jordan, or Jordan Love draws a Patrick Mahomes comparison. There you go. And I don't really agree with it, but then when it was explained to me, they're talking about how the way he could throw with his different arm angles, the way he could he could throw on the move. And then with his improvisational skills, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, that is kind of a good comparison. So then it does make sense that the Chargers are like, okay, we need to get a guy like that. You know what I mean? Someone that, you know what I'm saying? Because they compete with this motherfucker. Like, you can't beat him. Go not join him, but get something like him. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you see it all over the league. Like, for example, Le'Veon Bell, for years, you know what I'm saying? He was with the Steelers. And then then you look at Joe Mixon. When they drafted him, he's damn near like a Le'Veon Bell light. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw him play against the Dolphins this season, and that man was running.
Oh yeah,
I
fuck with
I was
Joe
at the
Mixon.
stadium.
See, Joe Mixon's another one of those guys. I would love for you to make a little clip for me because Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, these are guys that are outside of the top 5 consensus picks that I would be targeting a lot because I think those are guys that could bring back that top 5 value. You know what I mean? In the next year.
That's for sure. Nick Chubb almost got the rushing title, but Derrick Henry for sure deserved it a lot, especially in that playoff run. Playoff run, that was a shocker.
Oh yeah. Okay, so tell me about Devontae Parker. Like, what's your temperature on Devontae Parker? Like, should we buy into it? Like, I was a Devontae Parker truther for for a long time, and when he finally started,
He finally clicked. I can tell you that. He finally clicked. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, and it took fucking forever because of injury and also just
Injuries. Yeah.
Adam Gase too. Adam Gase is one of those terrible coaches. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you have a guy, he's talented, just throw him the ball. You know what I mean? And
they were throwing a lot to Jarvis, to Juice.
Yeah,
That's what we call him here.
And if you look at Jarvis Landry's years with Ryan
Dolphins.
Tannehill, you know what I'm saying?
They were pretty good. I was sad that they traded him.
Yeah, and here's the thing too is they whatever value they could have got, you know what I mean? That's what they were about. They were like, all right, let's just accumulate these picks. We're gonna go on and move Ryan Tannehill because Ryan Tannehill he never, he never
was like a good average quarterback.
I used to call him a poor man's Alex Smith. That's what I used to call him. You know what I mean? Where like he was like a game manager type. And like honestly, I think Tennessee, they're gonna have a rude awakening once they see him play the way he does. Hey, hold on 1 second, okay? I got somebody surprise knocking at my studio door. Who is that? Yo, who that? Yo, who that? Who? Oh. I was like,
this is live, folks.
Yeah, we live right now. Hey, Mike, go ahead and tell them more about where you can find the podcast and what the last episode was about, so that we can make sure they go and check your guys' stuff out.
Are we trying to look for Mike?
No, for you and Mike's podcast. You know what I mean? Tell us a little about, and then we'll segue into free agency because I know you just covered your last episode, right? It was about free agency.
So pretty much describe how my podcast is. So usually we just do like a little intro. It's saying how we are in our lives, and then we go straight into the NFL news and stuff, you know? Just getting the topics and what we think about it. Mike has some interesting topics too whenever he starts talking. And that man be saying some weird stuff, I'm telling you. you know what I'm saying?
No, I hear you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, and you know what's one thing too about having a partner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because I commend the guys who be working by themselves. You know what I mean? They write their articles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that shit is hard as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to do a couple episodes solo because he was busy sometimes, so I had to do something solo, which it takes a lot. It takes a lot of you, a lot of focusing, you know.
No, I hear you. Like even right now, I'm like, hold it down, Ethan. For 1 second, I got to go answer this door. It's like a random someone pounding at the studio door and shit.
All right, now. All right.
No, hold on, Ethan. Yo, my bad. That was one of my kids. We're back. Very unprofessional, but anything can happen here, right here on the GMM network.
It's the first episode.
Hey, I mean, you know what's crazy is that was just one of my partners came through. You know what I mean? Knocked on the door. He was just picking up some stuff from the studio. You know, a lot of people. Matter of fact, because I'm like 5 minutes away from my joint. You know what I mean? So like, I haven't even fully moved everything up out yet. You know what I mean? I remember when I was messaging you back and forth, I was just talking about this little transitional period I'm in. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate the patience too, man, because I wanted, you know, when you had reached out, I think I had commented on one of your joints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, great content. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm not afraid, I'm to tell the next man, you know, if the work is good. You know, a lot of people they're egotistical to a degree, and I'm very aware of this because I mean I come from the background of music. Like, you know, I worked in the rap industry for years, where I know these motherfuckers are egotistical. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's hard to be like if you're like an artist and you reach out to another motherfucker, they might not fuck with you unless they think they can get some clout or some shit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Tory
you know
Lanez
what I mean?
going crazy on Insta.
Oh yeah.
Tory Lanez.
Oh yeah.
Quarantine.
Yeah, he is. That boy's going nuts up there in Canada, and he's one of those cats too. Man, he's
in Miami right now, actually.
Oh yeah.
He's
That's
living
right.
in Miami.
Okay.
He's from Toronto, but he's living in Miami right now.
Man,
he had DMX on live today.
No way. He got
DMX on live. Yeah, he got Instagram live.
That's
he had 21 Savage. Let me think. I saw this today. I saw 21. There was Timbaland, Swiss Beats, and then seeing Alicia Keys playing the piano.
Wow, he getting everybody. Hey, that's dope. See, shout out to Tory Lanez, man. He's bringing people entertainment. You know what I mean? And like, cause you know he's kind of a special cat. When I say special, I mean because he's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like he's eccentric. That's for lack of a better term. I said weird, but he's eccentric. You know, true eccentrics. You know what I mean? That, you know, you can't really put them in a box, and he's definitely one of those guys. He's a singer, rapper. You know, he's an actor. He's a writer. You know what I mean? He's all kind of different things. He's an actor. I already said that. But you know, it's like, you know, he's able to reach out to these different individuals. You know what I mean? And see, that's one of those things too, man. Like he's Canadian, bro. He's not from America, where like the American way was kind of like territorial and egotistical.
Sure.
Like in music, like I said, like a lot of these motherfuckers, he ain't got the ego. He's like, look, I'm about to reach out to all these motherfuckers. And then after he had that first night, when he did it, 2 days ago? You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, now everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, hit me. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's like, you're going to see a ton of other people doing this now because they're like, oh, Tory Lanez got it popping. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was surprised. I was wondering why Twitter was like Tory Lanez. I was like, what about Tory Lanez? What, has he got something or something?
Yeah, he's like, Tory Lanez,
like
he got a new hairpiece? You know what I'm saying? You know, Tory Lanez got like his hair is so fake, and he admits it too. It's hella funny. You know what I mean?
That's I saw him at the Bengals and the Dolphins game actually too. He was in the suites actually, but I was in the stands. But they showed him on the jumbotron that he was there.
Okay, yeah, because he's like a Miami native now, essentially.
Yeah, now he's a Miami native.
Yeah. Once you get into Miami, you see all them big ass booties everywhere. You're like, yo, it's over here closer to the equator. That's where it's at. You know what I mean?
Everybody comes to Miami Beach.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you guys on? You guys are on episode. Damn, what number was it?
Now it's gonna be 16. The next one's gonna be 16.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it's around 16 or 17. Yeah, so. You know, how long? How often do you guys drop? You know what I mean?
We usually do it once a week on Saturdays. But the last episode was on Sunday due to some inconvenience and something like that. You know.
Oh, okay. And you guys usually go for like the hour. You guys usually at the hour marker.
We usually do like half an hour to less. You know, half an hour content. You know, just a quick recap of the news from the week. You know.
Yeah.
Into one. The major news.
Well, let's recap. So right now it's the Ethan and Bogart show, right? Let's just hypothetically, right? So how would you do on your show when you're recapping news? You'd be like, you know, like, let's talk about free agency. How would you address it, like, on your show?
Yeah, like I would just address like going straight into NFL free agency. I just go off with like what Tom Brady signed with the Buccaneers for 2 years, $50 million. Which is a crazy deal for a 43-year-old quarterback.
Well, you know, you're paying for the 6 championships that he won elsewhere, so you know what I mean. It's kind of like it's a GOAT price tag. You know what I mean?
That's very true. But then again, you got to think about Tampa Bay's offense, though. How are they?
Bro, it's so fucking.
Remember Jameis Winston? It's like.
You know, I have a take. So here's my take after thinking about it for like a week and some change. With Tom Brady going there, right? This is how I feel about the skill positions. So as far as it stands, they don't have no running back aside from Ronald Jones because they let Peyton Barber go, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Ronald Jones a lot because Tom Brady, he has a shorter ADOT, shorter average depth of target. So, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be hitting on a lot of dump offs to Chris Godwin, or a lot of short routes to Chris Godwin, a lot of dump offs to Ronald Jones.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, no,
Mike Evans too.
Well,
that's
Mike,
a good threat.
Yeah, Mike Evans. See, here's the thing: is Mike Evans, he's essentially, they're down the field guy, and he could also be used as a red zone target. But
sure.
he's the one guy, him and O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. I'm looking at them like you're really gonna have to get lucky on the weeks that you get it right. Like, okay, this is a Mike Evans week. You know what I mean? All right, this is the O.J. Howard week, or this is a.
You just never know who's who.
Yeah, and
fantasy especially.
This is why I say it as far as it pertains to fantasies, because one, the Bruce Arians system historically doesn't really feed a tight end. So, and they have two of them there. They have O.J. Howard and, you know what I'm saying, what's his face? Cameron Brate. Make America Brate again, right? But and then you have Chris Godwin, who essentially will be like, the black version of Julian Edelman for Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, being able to hit him off with like a security blanket. You know what I mean? In the short routes. So he's gonna stack up a lot of points in PPR. I love Chris Godwin. Here's my thing with Mike Evans. I'm kind of off Mike Evans because even last year and the year before that, Mike Evans, he's a dude that'll get you like 180 yards in a game. But like the next week will have 20, 30 yards. You know what I mean?
Inconsistency.
Yes, and on a per game basis. So like if you look at his numbers at the end of the year, it looks skewed. He'll have like over 1,000 yards, and you'll be like, oh, okay, he's good. No. On a per game basis, I don't trust him. And here's
Depends on who he plays against. Yeah.
Here's the important factor with my man, famous Jameis, or as I like to call him, infamous Winston, right?
30 for 30.
Right? Exactly. Ooh, I like that. That's our man, 30 for 30. I like that. That's a good one. So, with infamous Winston, he would throw so many goddamn picks and pick sixes and fumble the ball and everything all in one, where he would have to play from behind majority of the time. So,
for sure.
In fantasy, when you're playing from behind, all your guys, he's throwing everyone back into the game. He's hit, you know what I mean? People are getting production in the second halves of the game because they're playing from behind. Defenses are kind of playing a little off coverage, letting them pile up receptions just so they can get the ball back because, they're usually playing from a big deficit. In this case, you're going to have Tom Brady, who's going to be able to sustain drives. He's going to be way safer than the ball for 100%. Maybe he throws 12 to 15 picks. He ain't throwing nowhere near 30. And the 15 is probably the ceiling. He might have like 12, anywhere from 9 to 12 picks maybe next year because of the type of weaponry he has. You know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing with Tom Brady is if you're playing with a lead, it's going to be a more controlled environment versus playing from behind and all your receiving options are going to eat. So I'll be, for everyone that's listening to this, you know what I mean? Just if you're looking at Mike Evans in the fourth round, good luck to you. You know what I mean? I'm not on that.
Yeah, I want to go for Mike Evans. If I was doing the draft, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And this is early prediction, so you never know who will come out of that draft.
Yeah, man. Well, here's another thing too with the Tom Brady move is it's just immediately gonna make everyone overdraft all those players. You know what I mean? But one thing, I'll tell you this much, I would look at that defense. You know what I mean?
The Bucs defense?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, last year they were number 5 overall in DVOA, right? And like, they just had a bad secondary. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
the secondary was ferocious.
Yeah, but they had a nasty pass rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they re-signed Sue actually yesterday. They re-signed him a year for $8 million.
Oh, I missed that. All right, cause Sue.
Yeah, Sue.
Yeah, Sue went over to LA. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to chase one, but that's dope.
He almost got one. But that was the most glorious Super Bowl I ever saw.
Yeah, and I like Sue in Tampa. You know what I mean? Like, well, and then you still got JPP. You got Barrett. You know what I mean? And you still got, I think you still got young ass Vita Vea, and you got you guys that you can rotate in and out. But you get a secondary over there, and it's trouble. Because I'll tell you this much: Todd Bowles I never respect him as a head coach, but as a defensive coordinator, as a DC, come on, you've seen him when he was with the Jets. I mean, that's your division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen him. Like sometimes he beat us, but most of the time we beat him.
Yeah, and you know what too is Miami. It was so feisty, bro. Like shout out to my man Xavier Howard. He's the truth.
Xavier Howard, and we got Brian Jones in the secondary. So
like that's gonna be nuts. Like because Byron Jones, he was getting smoked last year by number one receiving options, but now he's not gonna be delegated to the number one. He'll be able to cover the number two receiver because obviously Xavier Howard, he's the glue. He's gonna glue his ass on the whatever number one receiver on the other side. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, like I never started guys against Xavier Howard in that division. Like, whether it was a Robbie Anderson or whether it was a John Brown. You know what I mean? Xavier Howard is like, psh. You know who's nasty too in that division? Tre'Davious White.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, from Buffalo.
Tre'Davious White.
He's nasty too. Like those guys are the young corners that I'm not fucking with, bro. You know what I mean? Like
and Gilmore is a pretty good corner.
Stephon Gilmore, he leads that whole class. That's it. He leads that pack. You know what I mean? He's like a year before all those guys. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised the Dolphins won their last game against the Patriots.
I love Ryan Fitzpatrick, bro. I love the magic.
It's magic.
I love the magic man. Like, if they somehow draft Tua, I think Tua won't play at all the whole year as long as the magic man doesn't fall apart. You know what I mean?
Which he might will.
Yeah.
Like
and he's the type of dude, he goes for like, 5 to 6 game stretches, and then he starts to fall apart. And like, but see what they did over there in Miami is what's your guys' name? What was his name? Your OC. He's coming over from.
The defensive coordinator?
No, the OC.
Oh, the head coach.
No, the OC, not Flores. Who's the offensive? You guys just brought in a new offensive coordinator, but he spent time. He was the head coach.
He stepped for the Jets.
Yeah.
He spent time with the Jets.
Yep, he was with the Jets with Fitzpatrick, and they brought him in there because he also spent time with Fitzmagic in Buffalo. So yeah. So
back when 2014 when the Jets almost made the playoffs with the 10-6 record.
Yep, when they had.
I forgot his name right now. I just can't think of it right now.
I think that was what was that? Was that 2015?
Yeah, that was 2015 when he was a defensive coordinator for the Jets, and then he retired after that, and then he came back.
Yep.
I just can't think of his name right now, but hopefully that will bring us up.
Well, I bring his name, not his name, but I bring him up because he has the rapport with Ryan Fitzpatrick in that system, you know what I mean? Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick has ran that system in New York, he's ran that system in Buffalo, so, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of tells me that, whatever quarterback they bring in, he's going to sit down for real, you know what I mean? Until either injury or...
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, who do you want? Okay, you got so many picks, and I want to hear it from let's call it the finale. I want the fanatics, the fanatic fandom analysis. Let me know about the Dolphins right now. What you guys got? So many goddamn picks.
So you want me to talk about the picks right now?
Yeah. Like, what do you just as a fan of your team? Because as a fan, you always know what your team needs best, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you watch on the draft, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, so tell me, what do they need? Like, what do you want to see them do?
We definitely need a young quarterback, that's for sure. A young quarterback that's kind of mobile. Be the next Dan Marino for us, We've been looking for that since the 2000s.
Since Dan Marino?
Yeah, since the 2000s. We don't have, like, a prime quarterback since 2000.
Man, I'd say, damn, I don't want Herbert to go to you guys. Because now that I'm talking...
I like Tua. You seen that video? You saw the video how Tua was moving?
But they weren't... You know what? The one thing is the video was just about his movements and his motion, his mechanics. That's what they were trying to showcase. I want to see where that ball was going. You know what I mean? Was he overthrowing the guy? Was he underthrowing the guy? Was there a guy? You know what I mean?
He was just trying to prove a point that he could move.
Yeah, I know. I just still want to see it. You know what I mean? Because honestly, a video like that in this day and age, in this day and age, with Corona climate confinement going on, you can't even get your mans that you're looking at to go get a physical from a doctor or anything like that. So these little videos like that, they're gonna, the
It's just gonna leave
Dolphins.
a lot of questions. Though.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying like little videos like that unfortunately it's gonna boost his draft stock. And they're gonna be like, well, look at him, he's good in the video. You know what I mean? And like, you're gonna have to move. Like if there's anyone that'll move up to get him at number 2, where the Redskins are at, it would be the Dolphins because they have the capital. You guys have 3 first-round picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just hope we don't trade like 2 first-round picks just to get Tua. That's my only concern. It says we get the number 2 pick, and then we trade two of our picks in the first round. Like, man,
Hey,
we just get.
and then watch Ryan Fitzpatrick takes y'all to the Super Bowl, and you didn't even fucking need the backup.
If Fitzpatrick gets us to the Super Bowl, I will be the most biased guy you probably know if that ever happens.
I would call it destiny. I'd be like, it was destiny. You know what I'm saying? The Magic Man. And you know what's crazy too?
I'll be going crazy, okay?
Listen, I'm a Ryan Fitzpatrick truther because I am, mainly predicated on fantasy, and he's a fantasy football goat to me. You know what I mean?
He's a go for some games until like he gets pulled out, and then
Yeah, but I'm saying for fantasy, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because in fantasy, it's not, if you're starting Ryan Fitzpatrick, you obviously, it's not like your only option.
Yeah, fantasy is like kind of like you gotta get really lucky on that on a certain day.
Yeah, but
and pray to God you don't bench your best player. That gets 40
and that's the one thing too is like in fantasy, I'm usually on. I love the first 4 weeks. Once you get into the first 4 weeks, I got 4 weeks of solid of data on defenses. On and I could point out little trends where I'd be able to feel comfortable about spot starting a quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick if that defense. Called for it. Like, I was like, okay, this is a defense they're getting picked on in their secondary. You know what I mean? They got a good offense on the other side, so Ryan Fitzpatrick will be playing from behind. Boom, I'm starting him. You know what I mean? Like, there's a formula to it sometimes.
Yeah, we don't even talk about those 2 weeks in the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah. I know, right?
I watched both of those games throughout to the end of the quarters.
How did you feel about when you guys traded for Josh Rosen? Was there a little moment where you were like, bro, this could work?
I was curious, but then again, we got him cheap, so I mean, like, yeah, we traded away our pick, but I was like seeing how good he is, But he's pretty inconsistent. He was not that great for us for the games he started. He had like a low percentage average. He was like 1 for 5. On touchdown interception ratio, so it was pretty bad. And then the completion ratio was like 53%, so it was like. And then we benched him, and then Fitzpatrick almost got us a win, but he did eventually win for us for Fitzpatrick. So I like Fitzpatrick more than Rosen.
It's crazy. It's crazy because Fitzpatrick is like, they're probably thinking, cool, we got the Magic Man. You know what I mean? We're just gonna always secure these L's so we can get a high pick. And then he gets in there, he's like, nah, we're gonna win, fellas. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, it shocked some people. It shocked some people. The record we were supposed to have an 0-16 record or 1-15.
No, that's real.
That would be depressing. I hate losing season.
Hey man, I mean, here's the one thing
you guys had some too.
Oh yeah, like you said, you've been looking for the next Dan Marino. We've been on the quest for the 6th title for like 26 years. So, you know what I mean? And I was a kid when the last time we won it, so I remember that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, damn, I could literally remember when we're still on the path. You know what I mean? Trying to get a title. And here's one thing I remember about the Dolphins a lot of times is that like you guys always finish the year off hot. It's something about Miami. And maybe it's when teams go to Miami in the wintertime or not in the wintertime, maybe I don't know. You know what you guys need? You guys need more home games in the first 8 weeks. Because when players go there, that heat in September and October, they're not fucking with that still, you know what I mean?
It's hot.
Yeah, players aren't conditioned like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like you guys can really, if you guys have a heavy home schedule early on in the year, you know what I mean? It might benefit you guys a lot. You know what I mean? These players coming in off the Corona break, where it's like they might not be as conditioned. You know what I mean? You'll be able to smoke them. It's kind of like people going to Denver, man. You got to be conditioned to play in Denver. You know what I mean? At that high altitude.
The high altitude, the cold, everything. There's always advantages on some places. You never know what advantages you get.
Wow, check this out. This whole time I've been trying to light this joint because my lighter is out of lighter fluid, right? And so I'm finding these other lighters and I'm trying to do 2 lighter actions at once and I got it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And I'm like, yes, success. I'm telling you, Ethan, I'm trying to figure it all out. I got people banging at the door randomly. I'm running out of fire. It's a goddamn Corona climate. You know what I mean? It's a crazy world we live in right now.
It's a crazy world, man. Like everything just comes to a halt. It's like can't go out anywhere. Can't go to the beach. Can't go nothing.
And then all these. What's even worse is all the crazy Corona conspiracy theories I hear. Like,
oh my god,
bruh,
the zombie apocalypse next month.
And it's like, listen, I'm a nerd at heart. If I see motherfuckers coming at me with Corona, I'm just dome shotting them. I'm just, you know what I mean? Fuck it, I've seen this movie. You know what I mean? I know how this thing ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, dome calls. You know what I mean? Just all headshots. You know what I'm saying? No, all jokes aside. It's crazy the world that we're living in, and you know, I mean, if you wanted to take something positive out of a super negative situation, I would say
you got some time at home.
Yeah, and
do some stuff at home that you never thought you could do.
This is something that theoretically should bring us all together too. You know what I mean? From the safety of your own confinement, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just keep washing your hands.
Like,
don't touch your face.
Right? Man, yeah, like, you ain't lying, bro. It's
before I was done with the job last Tuesday. I was like, gotta keep washing your hands constantly. And just make sure you don't touch your face. That's it.
And it makes me, you know what's crazy too is like being able to remember. Like, hopefully this thing doesn't go on for years, because then it's like my youngest kids, they're gonna be like. They're not gonna remember their world is gonna be everyone in the public wearing hazmat suits and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
I think they'll find a cure eventually. You know how they are.
Yeah.
But they just take their time with it. I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's skeptical. They're taking their time on it, but you know.
Well, it's still big business. It's still big business. So. You know what I mean? They probably haven't got the bag ready yet. They haven't secured the right bag. You know what I mean? To be like, all right.
Yeah, I just feel a little bit of that, but hey, I don't want to be associated with no conspiracy theories on that.
Yeah. So
it's just how I feel. It's
he's
what
like,
I feel sometimes.
Next subject. You know what I'm saying?
It's just how I feel on it.
So how are you spending your Corona time? I mean, you know what's funny is I used to be a crazy ass gamer. I used to love Street Fighter and shit. Then I started having kids, and it was just like, you know what I mean? It was just one of those things like, you know, music and video games, you know what I mean? They started taking the back seat, kind of, you know what I mean? And like, you know, like if I was still a gamer, I think this would be like the best time. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, the best time to do games and stuff like that, for sure.
Right. So how you do? What is your favorite like pastime right now? Are you just like constantly getting your content ready? Like what's good with Ethan in this confinement?
Like, I'm just doing content. Might be doing a surprise content later on in the year, but I can't say right now. But surprise content later on.
Give me an exclusive. Come on. Give me an exclusive. I'm just fucking with you.
Nah, I'll show you something later, but not right now. I can't.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. That's great media training right there. See, I try to get you to reveal the trade secrets. You know what I mean? You pass. You pass. Good shit, kid. You know what I mean? Don't never give them the trade secrets. You know what I'm saying?
That's all I can say. It'll just be a surprise near the end of the year, or actually near the end of the summer. Actually, I should say that. So
you think your Dolphins will be a surprise? I mean, you know, they're adding that 7th team in the out of every conference. You know what I mean? Like, how you feel? But you guys feel like the AFC is a little more wide open with Brady leaving and like Ben Roethlisberger kind of old as fuck. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got the Chiefs there reigning supreme.
In the AFC, I think we should be pretty good, but I'm not sure if we make the playoffs. Even though the playoffs thing, I think it starts this year. Yeah. So there'll be a 7th team. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's too early. I gotta see who the quarterback and who we get. You know. it's too early, but I don't know why, but I see the Bills getting the first seed for the AFC East in our division for some reason because they got Stephon Diggs.
I like that hot
Josh
take.
Allen.
I like that. I love Josh Allen, the Stallion. I'm a Josh Allen. I call him the white Cam Newton. I'm the white Cam Newton truther. I love Josh Allen. I think
he's very inconsistent on deep throws though, but he's a good short passer.
And
he's like Tannehill. He's like Tannehill. He was a good short passer and not that great deep thrower.
Here's the thing: is that last year when they got him Cole Beasley, he became a better short and intermediate passer because he's pretty much predicated on his big bomb, but it's wildly inaccurate. And the fact that he likes to run and has a big arm that's wildly inaccurate. That's exactly why I call him the white Cam Newton. I mean, tell me that's not Cam Newton. You know what I mean?
No, that's Cam Newton for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think Cam Newton might go to the Patriots. I feel like he's gonna go to the Patriots, no lie, or the Chargers.
You know, check this out, Playmakers. Check out episode 52. We just dropped it, and my co-host, shout out to Guru. He has Cam Newton going to New England. You know what I mean? And and I brought up a point that you're probably like a teenager at the time, but do you remember when Josh McDaniels was in Denver and he had Tim Tebow?
Yeah, that was 2011. That we talking about 2010, 2011. I was like 10 or 11 at that time.
Right? I think it was like 2012, 13ish even. Either way, you know what I mean? We've seen him take a guy.
John Fox.
Yeah, and we've seen McDaniels, you know what I'm saying, who's the OC for New England. We've seen him with Tim Tebow, a guy who's more of a runner, like he's kind of like a fullback out there. He's more, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I mean. He likes, like I said, he likes to call his own number in the red zone, and he's a wildly inaccurate thrower. And they got to the playoffs with Tim Tebow. I mean, I think if Cam Newton goes there, yeah, but I remember that game against the Steelers.
Their division was horrible that year.
Yeah, and I just remember that playoff game against the Steelers too. But yeah, you're definitely right about that division being horrible. That was before Andy Reid.
They got really lucky to get in the playoffs. I remember it was like the Raiders or the Denver. I think that's what the situation was, and then Denver got in because they won.
Yeah, I remember that.
Demaryius Thomas overtime.
Yep.
First play, and then they get crushed by the New England.
Oh, of course. And then of course, you know what I mean? Bill Belichick's like, come on back home over here. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Josh McDaniels. They don't want you over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for sure. And then John Fox came in there and just kicked out Tim Tebow, and then Peyton Manning got in there.
Yep. And it makes me mad because we wanted to get Peyton Manning, and he wanted to come to us at the time. We had that defense that he needed, but then Jim Harbaugh was like, I'm going to be calling the plays, and he wasn't having that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because Peyton Manning is the sheriff. He always calls the plays.
Right?
The sheriff.
Man, well...
I remember he visited us, and then he just went back to the airport.
Yeah, you know, that was like leverage. That was like a leverage visit. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
Yeah, but man, it sucks too because you know it was definitely
too good to be true.
No, it was Dan Marino was courting him for sure. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that was always Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a good guy who tried to bring everybody here.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's like he's the greatest Miami Dolphin ever, and it's like, man, it's kind of intimidating. I would think, kind of go over there and you're like, man, you know what I mean? Dan Marino, he's like, yo, you need to fix my team, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a little.
You got a lot of high expectations, I can tell you that. We're looking for that guy. It's been, 20 years?
Yeah, and you guys got a defensive minded guy at the helm right now. So.
Oh, Brian Flores, yeah, it's shown that we improved from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. For sure, we improved.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you that.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, even where he was like, he was almost like with Xavier Howard. I remember he got like a little elbow injury, if I remember correctly, and like he was like, okay, you're on the injured reserve, because it was like, yo, we're getting too good out here. You know what I mean? Like once his system started to click, because he was like, man, we're ripping off all these wins. You know what I mean? Like even that win against
we got wins of the Colts, the Jets,
the one against the Bengals. Even, man, that was a hell of a game to be at. You were at that game, right?
Yes, oh my God, you don't understand how it went from me being chill, we about to win this a blowout, to me screaming at overtime, praying to God we don't tie this game.
Man, and you know what was so crazy too, bro, is I'm directly tied to that game because in fantasy, I had to decide between Dak Prescott or Andy Dalton. And Dak Prescott was dealing with a shoulder injury, but he was playing the Eagles. They had a bad secondary. The playoffs were on the line. I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll with Dak Prescott, and he ends up, just playing shitty. And then obviously
he didn't play too good.
Andy Dalton threw for like 450 yards.
In the fourth quarter.
Bro,
Almost.
450 yards, 4 touchdowns. He ran one in. Then he ran a 2-point conversion in, and I was like, I would have won the Super Bowl. Bro, I would have won the Super Bowl.
The stress level in my head right from there went from me being chill to me screaming my lungs out to the point like I lost my voice after the game.
Hey man,
I didn't lose my voice to like after the game.
Listen, I'm barely getting my voice back from the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
at least you got playoffs. You know I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling the playoffs every year.
He's like, bring it up.
Even though we did go into the 2016, but we got killed by the Steelers.
Yeah, I remember that, and like they were on Jay Ajayi that game because remember earlier in that year, Jay Ajayi ran for like 200 yards.
Was going off.
Yeah, he ran for like 200 yards on them, and then they see him in the playoffs. He's like, no, we ain't doing that. Plus, like, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, we ran all over him.
And it was unfortunate for that year because Ryan Tannehill was clicking.
He was doing pretty good, too.
He was clicking,
and then he got injured
bro.
in Arizona.
Like, yeah, he was clicking, and then he gets hurt to Arizona, and then Matt Moore comes in. And shout out to Matt Moore. He actually got a ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Matt Moore and Chad Henne. Chad Henne also got a ring. He was also a Dolphin, too.
Oh, wow.
We drafted him back in 2008. And he was a starter for us back in
Damian Williams. Oh, shit.
Damian Williams.
Bro, I was such a Damian Williams truther. Like, remember, everyone was like, Kenyon Drake, and I was like, Damian Williams. And then Williams, he got hurt like he does. You know what I'm saying?
He got hurt. I think he was like a little bit inconsistent with us. I think he just needed like another team.
But it's also Adam Gase. Adam Gase, I mean, we just saw him do the same thing with Le'Veon Bell. It's like, even though he has Le'Veon Bell, there's still other running backs getting touches. Like, Adam Gase pisses me off as far as fantasy. And I think like his whole head coaching career right now is based on the fact that he got a title with Peyton Manning, and then he also was able to make Jay Cutler have a
6-10 record.
Yeah,
6-10 record. That's a good year.
No, well, I mean, but as far as Adam Gase ended up following John Fox to Chicago, and then he was the OC over there, and Jay Cutler had a career year there. So I remember even being on.
He had a career year, but he went 6-10 though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you know, me too. I'm really looking at it as far as like production because I'm pertaining to fantasy, but also it's like in reality, Jay Cutler's trash. So that made Adam Gase look that much more better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, don't ask me how I felt with that Jay Cutler signing.
And I was actually excited, but then I realized who
I knew it was gonna be a failure.
I remembered who Jay Cutler was after the fact.
1 year, $10 million. If you give me $10 million,
it was like $12 million. It was like 12.
No, it was 10. It was 10. It was 10.
Oh,
it was 10. That was definitely 10.
It might have been the 10.
I know it because he sucked that year.
Yeah, that was the 2017 year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a miserable year too.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I'm excited for this year. You know what I mean? Your Dolphins are definitely gonna make noise in the draft. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys made a lot of strong moves in free agency. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, especially with the players you picked up on defense, it's like you guys are trying to win. Not
Van Noy.
Yeah.
We got Emmanuel. I can't pronounce his last name, but
I know you're talking about.
There,
yep.
Okava.
Yep.
A couple more players.
Yep.
I know
Brian
Jordan Howard
Jones.
resigned.
You know what I'm saying?
Brian Jones.
And you guys,
Howard resigned.
I think you guys definitely end up getting one of these running backs in the draft too.
Yeah, I feel it's gonna be Swift. I feel like it's gonna be Swift.
Yeah, I mean, because Swift is a consensus number one running back coming off the board. I think, and he'll be able to sit behind Jordan Howard. Like, Jordan Howard and Swift are kind of built similar. Swift is 100% more talented running back, but I'm saying, like, as far as their physicality and the way they're built, they're similar. So I could see them, like, that's kind of the precursor to them looking at a guy like Swift, or maybe even a Jonathan Taylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jonathan Taylor. I actually was talking a lot about Jonathan Taylor. He was a good running back out of Wisconsin. Good man. When I saw him play, when I saw the highlights and the games that we watching live, it's like, damn, that man could run.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for fantasy's sake, because I'm about Jonathan Taylor and Swift. Like wherever they land, they're going to be interesting in fantasy because they should land on teams that need a running back, like Tampa Bay and Miami. Speaking of the Florida teams, you know what I'm saying, they both need a running back. I can see them, either Swift or Taylor going to either or of those. You know what I'm saying? Who else needs a running back? Maybe even the Chiefs too, bro. The Chiefs, I can still see them drafting another running back to go because they, they seen how they ran through all their running backs last season. They might go get a young guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like Williams as their top back. He deserved that for sure.
Yeah, but see, Williams is another. He's one of those guys too. It's in spurts. You know what I mean? Like he's good for like a 3-4 game stretch, and in this case, that's exactly all they needed for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Even though they kept coming from behind, it was a hilarious thing.
I know, man. Fucking just bring it up. Just bring it up. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that photo of the 49ers posing in your end zones.
Oh, that was the curse right there.
For any 49ers fan.
Bro, I was pissed when they did that.
With 10 minutes left in the game.
Okay, I can't lie. I was celebrating. I liked it when they did that. But then, in hindsight, I was like, that was it right there. Because I believe in karma like a motherfucker. And the football gods don't like arrogance. You know what I mean?
They don't like Kyle Shanahan.
And think about it. What does that do to an opposing team? They're like, these motherfuckers are celebrating already. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit.
It gives a little bit of motivation.
Fuck yeah, it does. You know what I mean? Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's switch the subject. This one still hurts.
Trying to switch the subject so you don't talk about your 49ers.
I'm just fucking around. I brought it up.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan choked 2 Super Bowls, okay?
How crazy was it in Miami? I mean, you've had a Super Bowl out there a number of times in your lifetime, but like,
yeah, I remember I was at the NFL Experience when I was a little bit younger when the Colts and the Bears were playing down here.
When it was raining.
Yeah, it was raining. When I went to the NFL Experience, it was still sunny there. It wasn't raining, what I remembered, but it did rain. Devin Hester.
Never mind. I was thinking, that was the one where Devin Hester ran it back, right at the game.
Yeah.
Woo! Dang, memories. Man, that was a cool Super Bowl too. That was a cool one too in memory because that was the first time there was going to be a black head coach Super Bowl coach.
Yeah, Lovie Smith.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and it would have been him or
Rex Grossman at the quarterback.
No, it was Lovie Smith and what's his name?
Oh man,
the skinny dude. He's
I can't think of it right now.
He was the Colts coach.
I know what you're talking about.
Tony Dungy.
Tony
Dungy. They shout out to Dungy. He looks so sickly. But that's just his look. You know what I mean? The way he looks like he's fucking a corpse and shit. But he's like, he looks like you know who looks like a corpse? Fucking Todd Bowles. That motherfucker looks like a corpse. That poor bastard. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what? Before we close this up, man, you know what I mean? I want you to let everybody know where they can find your guys' content again and where they can follow you guys. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna help promote you guys when I promote this episode at the same time.
Yeah, we'll do the same. We'll do the same for you.
Oh yeah, sure. Man. Hell yeah, appreciate it, man. It's all love. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love how this fantasy industry it makes me willing to reach out because I appreciate content creators. People need to get appreciated for their work, and like you know what I mean. It don't matter how big I can get this platform of my own. You know what I mean? No matter how big I can get it, I'm still going to be willing to work with whoever the fuck as long as I enjoy their content and I think that it's something that people would enjoy as well. You know what I mean? Especially in this time where people should be supporting their content creators. You know what I mean? If you're at home doing nothing, you're actually doing something by watching, our content. You know what I mean? You're helping us, you know what I'm saying, by, listening and we're hoping we're helping y'all. You know what I mean? Pass some time and maybe perhaps bring you some entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very true now.
Yeah, but go ahead and let them know where he can find you, Ethan.
All right, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. We can also find us in our major podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. And also shout out to Mike and Janae for the Ethan and Mike crew.
Yeah, shout out to Mike and you said Janae?
Yeah, Janae.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. Shout out to Mike and Janae, and you know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys follow all their social medias. You know what I'm saying? That's TikTok, that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's at Ethan and Mike Sports Show. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to their joints. Check them out on all streaming platforms. You know what I mean? Ethan, it was a pleasure having you on. You know what I mean? Be safe out there in this corona climate, confinement. Look out for them goddamn alligators. You know what I'm saying? You guys are already dealing with gators and shit. Now you know what I'm saying? Now you got corona. We're dealing about gators and motherfucking pending hurricanes and shit. Like, you guys deal with a lot in Florida.
Hurricane seasons.
And then actually, okay, hold on. Let me real quick before there's one thing I forgot to ask you, because I like to always ask one dumb question. But how crazy are people in Florida? And why do you think it is? Like, because you always hear all the crazy stories of, like, just crazy. Like, I heard a story one time about a man. He shot another man in a restaurant because this man went around paying for everyone's meal, and this guy had just paid for his meal, and the other dude was like, "Oh, you missed out," so he shot him. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then they're like, it was in Florida. Oh, okay, it makes sense. But you know what I mean? Am I crazy or is that?
I always hear that. It's always in Florida. I mean, I guess that's where all the crazies go because it's just the heat. I think the heat just drives people crazy.
Okay. And all
that's what I feel.
And the wildlife out there, like it's like, you know, maybe there's a whole lot of variables that could create a crazy environment. But I mean, I guess for the most part, you've been living there your whole life, so you're just used to it.
Yeah, you just got used to it. It's
like the weather. He's like, yeah, it's like the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes there's patches of crazy, sometimes it's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might see some crazy bitches. You might see some lovely ass bitches. You never know who you see. You see some crazy ass people, or you see some normal people. You never know.
You see all kind of culture out there too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like baby South America. You know what I mean? You got all kind of different.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dominicans and Cubans and
half
Puerto
Colombian.
Ricans. Oh, okay, there you go. See, he's half Colombian. You know what I mean? You know, I may or may have not have indulged in a little bit of some Colombian trades in my time, but that's another day, another story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but man, it was great having you on once again. You know what I mean? Be sure to subscribe to
I appreciate it.
Be sure to subscribe, Playmakers, and that's to the Ethan and Mike Sports Show on all streaming platforms. Fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Follow us at the GMM Network. Follow me at Bogart Scott Free. Be sure to click that like, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel as well. You know what I mean? And everybody be safe out there. It's all love. You know what I mean? Let's beat this thing together. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
For sure, man. Well, shit, my brother, you have a good one. You know what I mean? This ain't the first time I'm going to have y'all on, man. I'm going to probably get Mike on one time, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to see if I can get Mike on one time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Tell him it won't be nothing he ain't used to. You just get him on the phone, you feel me? You know what I mean? But yeah, my brother, well, shit. You be safe out there, man. Be good. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
Yep. Peace.
Peace, man.
Once again, that was Ethan from the Ethan and Mike Sports Podcast. Fuck with it.